Putting it all together. All right, you've made it this far. And first, I just want to say congrats. You've put time, effort, and intention into learning how your body actually works. That alone puts you ahead of the majority of people when it comes to your health and performance. Most people spend their entire lives chasing workouts, diets, another program without ever truly understanding the principles behind what they're doing. This is mentorship. Information is okay, but it means nothing without implementation. So together we've worked on how to implement the things that you've learned in a way that will serve you for the rest of your life. This is not just a program that only works when you're in it. The whole goal is for you to learn the information to build a foundation that will serve you forever. So over the past several weeks, we've built that foundation. Not just giving you things to do, but helping you understand why they mattered. We've talked about load versus capacity, how injuries and pain often happen when the demands of life exceed what your body is prepared for. We've talked about length, strength, and control, how movement quality matters just as much as movement intensity. We've discussed breath work and energy systems, and how something as simple as breathing can influence your nervous system, recovery, endurance, and performance. We've also talked about rate of perceived exertion and autoregulation, about how to listen to your body and train intelligently. This isn't about forcing yourself to follow his number blindly or a random program, but it's about flowing with life and learning how to do that when life throws things at you because you are human. You are a soul that gets to have a human experience because you have a body. So this is built through movement because we are using our body and movement to live the most abundant, active, capable life that we could have ever imagined. We've also explored the role of the nervous system, understanding that performance isn't just about pushing harder. It's about learning how to regulate stress so that your body can adapt. We've also talked about some deeper concepts too that influence everything you do, like identity and the idea of be, do, have. The understanding that real change doesn't come from simply doing more. It comes from becoming the type of person who actions naturally support the lifestyle that they want, right? More for the sake of more isn't better, but optimal is. The Built Through Movement program has helped you become more optimal and intentional with your life. What I hope that you take away is that health and performance isn't about quick fixes. It's about understanding your body. It's about learning how to think like an athlete. It's about developing awareness, resilience, and consistency over time. And the truth is, the type of education never really ends. Your body will continue to change, and that's why education without implementation is nothing. So we've learned how to implement this because your body will inevitably change. It's not about if, it's about when. And your goals will also evolve. You have the power to change what that is. You don't have to stay doing the same thing. You are not a tree, you don't have roots. Your life will shift through different seasons: pregnancy, postpartum, athleticism, beyond, pain, injury, travel, moving, jobs, family, all of these things. They're different seasons. The more you understand all of the principles over the last 16 weeks, the more empowered you'll be to navigate those changes. So I always like to use the black belt analogy. There's an analogy that comes from martial arts. When someone earns their black belt, people often think that means they've mastered everything. My jujitsu professor is 80 years old, and when I first started jujitsu, he told me that the hardest belt to earn is the white belt. A lot of people think it's the black belt, but it's the white because getting started is the hardest part. And you've already done that. By starting this program, you earned your white belt. But after the 16 weeks, you've now earned your black belt. The analogy is this, though. When someone earns their black belt, it's easy to think from an outside perspective that you've mastered everything. In reality of that, most martial artists will tell you that becoming a black belt is actually the beginning of real learning. It means that you've built the foundation, you understand the principles, you've developed enough awareness and skill to now go deeper. That's very similar to where you are now. You've built the foundation, you've learned the language, you've started to understand how your body works and how to train intelligently. But this is really just the start of what's possible. It's not the end. It's not a set it and forget it. The work begins when you get your black belt. So yes, you've gone through the initial 16 weeks of Built Through Movement. You've built the foundation. You understand the principles. But now it's just the start of what's possible for you. Because once you climb one mountain, there's always another mountain. So you've climbed this mountain and overcome hurdles that you've never imagined in your life to be possible. And so I know that as this program starts to wrap up, you already have the next goal of where you see yourself. Maybe you were in so much pain downhill running and you never thought you'd be able to run a marathon, and we've gotten you out of knee pain. And so now maybe you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, maybe I want to train for an ultra marathon." The goalposts move, right? You never not have goals. And now the fun begins because you have your black belt in this education. So I'm excited to learn about your next goals and what you see as possible for yourself in your future. From here, the next step is continuing to apply these principles in a way that supports your new specific goals. For some people, that means continuing to work together inside of the community and group coaching environment. For others, it might mean diving deeper into personalized programming, more movement assessments because your goals have changed, or more specific performance goals. Maybe you feel like you want to do it on your own for a little bit. Whatever you choose, the goal stays the same. Continuing to build capacity. I don't think there's a limit on how much capacity we can build. The more you do the work, the more capacity you build. It's to continue refining movement, and it's continuing to develop resilience in both your body and your mindset. Because when you approach training in this way, we're not just chasing short-term results, right? You're building a body that supports your life for the rest of your life. So again, you should be super stoked with yourself. Not everybody makes it this far. Congrats. The work you've done here matters. Not because you've completed a program, it's not another checklist that you get to, or another task that you get to check off, but it's because you've started thinking about your health and performance in your life in a completely different way. And now that that shift has started to happen, it changes everything for you. And the real fun gets to begin. You get to go live your most active and abundant life. And you have these tools to help you get out of your own way every time something happens. Because as I've said before, it's not a matter of if something else happens down the road, it's when. It's not just about preventing bad things to happen, right? We want resilient bodies to prevent those things from happening. But in inevitable situations, when it does, you are also now prepared to overcome them, right? You will not, once you learn this, you will not need another program for more information. You've learned the information. It's just in every phase of life. It's the implementation of how that is relevant to the new stage of life that you're in. Maybe you've learned this, you're postpartum and you're trying to get back out of some of the pain you experienced during pregnancy and rebuild your body, and you want to be resilient enough to carry your kid up a mountain, right? So you've gone through this program to help you do that pain free. Several years go down the road, maybe you decided that you were going to compete in biking and you injure yourself. The education doesn't change, but the implementation of how you utilize it in a different stage of your life does. That's the work, right? That's where you get to choose your identity in who you want to be in that situation, because life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And while, you know, things can be really hard at times, right? And we can look at it as setbacks. The most successful people fail the most. And that's okay. It's information. When you have these experiences, you've now created an identity that you believe in that lets you be the person that you want to be, not living in victim mindset. You get to control who it is you want to be. You are the author of your own life. It doesn't control you. You've done that through these last 16 weeks. You should be incredibly proud of yourself. So I know that I alluded to there's three different paths that you can take from here. One, you can choose to do things on your own. Maybe you feel really good about where you're at, right? Then I've done my job. That's amazing. Go try it out. Know that I will always be here for you if you need me. Okay. Number two, maybe you still want support, but you want it to be a little bit more hands off. You want to see how you can do it on your own, but still have like a program and somebody to support you in the way. So that would be more of the community group coaching element where you still get programming from me, but it's a little bit more you're being your own coach with support. We went from, the last 16 weeks is your build phase. The next 16 weeks could be your ascend phase, where you kind of ascend into this more interdependent opportunity to implement what you've learned, but you still have me and the community as a resource to be a part of as you're growing and developing the next level of you. Or number three, we can continue to work at a very high one-to-one level because maybe your goalpost has changed. Like I said, maybe you were early postpartum and you were trying to get out of pain and be able to be active with your kids not in pain and kind of get your body back to a state that you're confident in. And now you're feeling confident and you want to try to run an ultra marathon or a marathon or a half marathon. You've never done it before. We can change those goals together and still give you a level of individualized support that would be specific to the new goal that you have. Remember, goals are inevitable. You'll never not have a goal. So if you've gotten through this program and you now see in sight a new goal or challenge or obstacle that you want to try to overcome or accomplish, I would love to support you on that goal. All of those options, you might have already gotten a message from me in the coaching app. If not, um, in the other feature of this video, when you swipe over, it'll give you contact points for each option to move forward, depending on where you feel like you're at in this stage of life. There will also be a reflection prompt because I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback and let me know what you loved and didn't loved and what have you learned and where do you like what are your goals? This is why I do what I do and I care deeply about you and your goals and you as a person and I want to see the best for you. And so letting me know where you're at feels awesome for me to be able to either support you on your way on your own or continue to support you for your next goal. I very much appreciate you. I'm very proud of you for being here. You've earned your black belt. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Keep me in the loop. And, no matter what comes your way, I now know that you have the education and tools to be able to respond in a way that gives you confidence and clarity and lets you live your most abundant life. That is freedom without compromise in your body. That is movement as medicine. That is the ability to move more, hurt less. That is the ultimate gift in this life is to move freely in our bodies in any way that we want whenever we want. And you gave that to yourself. So you should be very proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. I'm so glad that you're here. If you had a great experience, share this program with somebody else who you feel may need it. If you resonated with it, it's likely that somebody else will too. And it helps me help more people because that's why I'm here. So I appreciate you. And until next time, I can't wait to see you again. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Share some wins with me. I'll always be here for you and any goals that come up that you want to pursue. And I'm also climbing this mountain with you. So until next time.